Three.
Oh, three, whatever.
Bad Boys for Life, which is the
What
third
a missed
one.
opportunity. Someone said this movie. Did you see Bad Boys?
Not yet. Let me see that today.
So someone said that it should have been called Bad Boys Dress. And then the fourth one should have been Bad Boys for Life.
Well, I think now they should go backwards, and the next one should be Bad Boys in 3D.
Well, you know what? I mean, you haven't seen. Did you see it or no?
No, but
Have you
I
seen
mean,
it yet or no?
Well,
I'm required to, though. I'm from
there's a
South
TV
Florida.
show that's in production or supposed to be coming out. It was originally going to be called Sid and Nancy with Gabrielle Union's Sydney character playing as the sister, playing as a cop with Jessica Alba playing a Nancy character. But they changed the name of it. I don't know what it's called now. But I thought it was great, Sid and Nancy, because that's a great reference between those, which was also, by the way, the name of Jessica Alba's pugs in the 90s.
All right, guys. So welcome to Simon Says Pop. So you know what? Hey, I want to talk about Bad Boys 3 for a second.
Will Smith being Will Smith. Everybody
Will
loves
Smith
that.
being Will Smith.
Does Martin Lawrence look like he's a man wearing a Martin Lawrence fat suit?
No, he's just a guy who's aged, man.
Okay,
He's
okay.
been out of the limelight for
The
7
first
years.
time
Hey, black's not supposed to crack.
No,
he
It's
doesn't
just
look
puffy.
old.
It's just big.
He doesn't look old. He just looks like he's just he's gained a little bit of weight.
The very first trailer was shocking because
But
I
he's
hadn't
also-
seen him since
In a
like before Big
while.
Mama's House.
But he's also fantastic and hilarious in the movie.
he's
just
funny.
and there's also a cameo in that movie. And you're like, of course they did that. So Michael Bay has a cameo in the movie. And you're like, oh, look, is that Michael Bay? It is Michael Bay. And they do. Guess what shot they do with Michael Bay?
Is it a slow motion cameo?
How'd you know?
It's a slow motion
It's
burn.
really.
It's a slow-mo circle around him.
That's
You're
probably
just
the best gag in the movie.
It really is. Only some people might actually get that joke. I thoroughly like the movie.
It's a good joke if you can predict. It's one of the few times where a good joke's predictable.
Well, again, it's just because you see the train coming down the tracks doesn't mean it's not funny.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, they're definitely taking that franchise in a Fast 5 or Fast 5, post-Fast 5 world.
They totally need the crossover.
Bad Boys Fast 5 Part 4.
No, I want Hobbs and Shaw with Marcus and Mike.
A fucking couple swap.
That would be awesome.
Swap partners.
I would love that. Anyways, guys, go see Bad Boys.
Bad Boys
3.
swinging.
So,
Fast and Boys.
so since our last podcast on Pop, we
Bad and
discussed,
Furious.
we talked about the nominations and the winners for the Golden Globes, and in that time,
BAFTAs are this weekend.
and the BAFTAs are this week, and that's no way a good indicator of where the different academies are heading. Last week with the Actors Guild, and Parasite won Best Ensemble.
Who won lead actor?
Lead actor went to
What's his name?
Joker, Joaquin
Yeah,
Phoenix. Yeah,
Joaquin Phoenix.
went to Joaquin Phoenix. It's all the Laura Dern won for Best Supporting. What's God, why'd you? Sorry, my brain suddenly had a fart. Judy Garland, Renee Zellweger won for Best Actress, and so on and so. Basically,
And
it's
Brad
all,
Pitt again for Best Supporting.
yeah, and the cinematographers had their little reward, and Deakins ran away with 1917. You saw that, right?
Yes, I
And-
saw. It's fantastic.
Have you seen it yet?
It is terrific.
Josh, have you seen it yet?
What?
1917.
1917.
Nope, not yet.
It is terrific. I love the way that they did that. I was telling you, it's like it can't be a one shot as the air quotes, because it's like, how are they going to do the time? It was a terrific idea the way they did
How they handled the time jump. Yeah.
so they could cover the amount of time that they had to. It was fantastic. It was an amazing movie. I liked. It's one of the few times I'm watching a movie and trying to figure out how they do things as it's going on.
Well, YouTube has a great making of that you can watch on how they did it.
I just saw one picture of how they did when he's crossing the river. And it's like, I'm pretty sure how they did this. I counted about 55 different times that they probably did their cuts. But the thing is that they were so smooth that there were times where I thought maybe, nope, it could have been a little later because of the next staging thing that was happening. But it was fantastic. And the thing is like half of those 55 that I guessed, probably about 10 to 15 of them probably weren't, just because of the timing. They probably continued it on to something later. I mean, it was so good. It was such a brilliantly executed thing.
It's a technical marvel, obviously.
The thing that it should receive editing because you don't see them.
That's what I was trying to explain that in the chat. I'm like, this movie should get best editing. You're like, well, why? It's one shot.
Well, other people. I did not say that.
Well, no, you said something along the lines.
No,
of,
I said best editing on that for the cinematography and directing, because this is clearly a movie And I could see where it might not win best movie, but if there's a best director out of this, it has to be this one, because this movie doesn't get made without the director. No, it doesn't look the way that it does and happen the way that it happens without the director doing the job that he does on it.
And also based on the story of his grandfathers that he told about World War
Which,
I,
yeah,
which is a
still-
really cool thing. So you know what? That movie, as of right now, is probably the proverbial favorite for Best Picture. It's
Interestingly enough, though, the SAG for Best Ensemble went to Parasite.
Yeah, I went to Parasite, which is another movie that is probably going to end up winning.
It's definitely foreign film. That's a lot.
It's a lock for foreign film, and I just saw it again in theaters this past week. It's probably my first or second favorite movie from last year. You got to see it. Both of y'all got to watch it.
Yeah.
There's a, like I keep telling you, there's a turn in that movie, and you're just like, wait, this is the same movie? Whoa, crazy shit. But anyways, I could definitely see Yu Young-ho winning Best Director.
There's a
potentially.
chance of that, but I mean, this is Mendes. This is the time that he's getting for that.
Yeah, but Mendes has already won Best Director, so
I
it could be one of those years where they split. One guy gets Best Director, and the other guy gets Best.
The last year that they really had that was, I think, 2000, where Traffic, Gladiator, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon all received like 3 or 4 awards. So they all split. There was no one movie. It's like those 3 movies split all the.
But
awards.
I think the last time that actually happened was what was it? The Revenant, when
But he won director.
yeah, he won Best Director, but he didn't win Best Picture.
Well, it wasn't. But DiCaprio won for the Oscars. I mean, it was the
Yeah, and then
Argo didn't even get a director nomination.
yeah.
Poor Ben.
So, anyways, we're gonna go ahead and start going through these nominations. The Oscar, since we last recorded, the Oscar nominations came out, and in all honesty, I mean, do you guys care about production design and costume design? Because personally, I think for production design, 1917 is probably the clear favorite on that one. They did a great job with that movie, or maybe Once Upon a Time. Costume design, I think, should go to Little Women. To be honest with you,
It was fantastic looking movie. Shocking. Well, we'll get to it. Little Women was a fantastic movie. I had never seen any of the others. I'm tangentially aware of what happens in it. I was completely surprised and amazed at the way that it was done. The story was told.
oh, it was fantastic. So, best visual effects. Josh, you can have an opinion on this one.
Endgame was nominated for this.
Endgame is the only nomination. Rise of Skywalker, 1917, The Lion King. I think The Lion King's bullshit. It was an animated movie.
The whole thing's in effect.
It is an effect, but at the same time, you know what? If Lion King can get best visual effects, then why can't any Pixar movie get the same award?
Every other animated movie.
They set a precedent. Every other animated movie should be able to get best visual effects.
Pretty
now.
much.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Toy Story 4, incredibly,
Wait, because
it's all visual effects.
No, but is it real? Is it visual effects lions
There's
on
there's-
real land?
No.
It's not, right? Okay, it's all
There's
the
only
entire thing,
one
though.
live shot of actual real life shot. In the
It's
entire
a-
thing is the
it's
very first
opening scene, right?
Opening
I
scene.
put it on last night to fall asleep.
Yeah, I actually watched it
That's
yesterday.
again,
I watched it yesterday. So, best visual effects is Star
That's the
Wars,
actual
Rise of
sound
Skywalker, Avengers Endgame, 1917, Lion King, and Irishman.
Look, Ant-Man decked a space whale. He wins. It's over.
It's
over.
They're going to give it because
The rain fire scene, like all of it.
it deserves it, and the fact that it's the only nomination, and it's like, hey, you made all this money, we're going to
Dude,
recognize it.
even the explosion where Ant-Man looks out the window and Thanos fires that first missile.
What was
It's not going to happen.
What do you think?
It's going to be 1917. The Academy, man. You know what? So I was actually
Their
learning
hatred of comic book movies.
No,
I
it's
see
not- it has
what
nothing
you're
to do
saying,
with
but it's-
hatred,
but
but no-
but the effects in that are so subtle.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. That's the thing. These voters, I didn't realize that you never leave the Academy.
But don't tell me you didn't realize something about this as much as you follow these things. That's ridiculous.
No. I didn't realize that like a good portion of the Academy are like retirees, people who just don't leave the house, or just
You have to be invited in, and then you don't get kicked
You
out.
don't ever get kicked out.
unless you're Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, you don't get kicked out. So all these people have votes. All these people are watching screeners.
Olivia de Havilland has been voting, and she probably for about 70 years now.
Yeah. So
Although I think she actually does watch everything.
I think 1917 probably wins it. I'm rooting for Endgame as the only
'Cause I'm a big
nomination.
fan of her.
which I think is insane that it's the only nomination it got, but we're not going to go there just
no,
yet.
But I think it'll win because again, these people have seen none of them. They probably saw 1917, but they're going to still like, oh, it made $2,000 or something. Here, let me give that.
Best
money.
visual effect is when they made that cell phone work after 5 years of no cell service.
Let's get over that. Best sound.
Never.
So, Jerry, by any chance,
A
can
literal callback.
Can you Can you explain the difference between sound mixing and sound editing?
So sound mixing is the combination of the different source material. So that would be, I think that when we discussed the people can comprehend 2.5 sound sources at one time. So if you're listening to this, basically you're only listening to our voices talking. But if you're driving in a car and you're listening to a radio, then you have your car sounds, you have your ambient, you have the radio, which is us, then you have your ambient outside sound. So between those, it's the mix between each one of those things. The best example where I was shown this was in Apocalypse Now, when they're coming in, and it's like the Charlie Don't Surf scene. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. When they're coming in, you have the dialogue, you have the helicopter sounds, you have the war sounds, you have the sounds of the pilots, and then you have the ambient other war sounds and the music underneath. So throughout the movie, they'll bring two of them up to where you listen to the dialogue and the music most importantly, and then the helicopter sound drops, or then when the dialogue stops, they bring the helicopter sound up, and then they may drop the music so you hear the war sounds. So that's the mixing of the different sources to where they come together. So like when you go to a concert and you're listening to that, that's the mix.
Yeah. So the nominees for best sound mixing, actually, they're pretty interesting. And damn it, I went right back to Bovada.
Rocket Man should be one of those, shouldn't it?
Yeah, he should be. But you know what? Rocket Man got no love at all.
I
except
can't
for
believe
original song.
I can't believe the lead actor Edgerton.
Edgerton didn't get nominated. It's a goddamn sham, if you ask me. So sound mixing: Joker, Ford v Ferrari, Once Upon a Time, Ad Astra, 1917. I think it's Ford v Ferrari.
This is where because this is the award that all the Bourne movies would win for the mixing, and
Yeah.
all you have to do is watch that crash scene in New York in the parking garage. You're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
But this is the Ford Ferrari, because in that example, it's the difference between the cars and the sounds and the dialogue and everything else.
So I think Ford v Ferrari wins that one, but
They should win that.
I wouldn't be shocked if 1917 wins that one. Best cinematographer.
The 1917, it's there's never really more than two or three sources. It's just like the talking and just the music or the ambient sound.
But the ambient sound, the sweeping score.
the score, but the score is the score. It's not.
Well, no, but the way they mix it with how they utilize it for different moments.
That'll be an interesting choice.
The shadow scene alone was the score sweeping up, and you're.
But I think that's a choice
flare.
of the voters, to where they think that it's more compelling because of the score. They make it more compelling because of the way that it's mixed in the movie.
So best cinematography is pretty much a lock for Roger Deakins with 1917. The only other movie I think might have a shot.
What are the others on this one?
Joker, Lawrence Sher, Jaron Blasky for The Lighthouse, which I've not seen. I'm gonna probably
Black
watch
and
that.
white movie, which
I'm
are
gonna
always
watch-
stark.
I'm gonna watch that tonight,
Is
probably.
that the Pattinson movie?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't watched
hear
that
great
yet.
things.
I've heard really good
Weird.
things.
It's weird.
Wow.
Rodrigo Prieto for The Irishman, and Robert Richardson for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Deakins is going to win 2 years
Once
in a row.
Upon a Time is a sharp-looking movie, but when you look at it, there's nothing particularly special.
No.
Which again is a gift of it.
There
because
is
you don't notice
there is
anything.
the Quentin.
But I mean,
What scene? The movie theater with the feet.
Oh,
Yeah, but you know what? I'm sorry.
that's the director's choice.
Yeah, it's directed, but if
Should
you
be an
watch,
award.
if you watch 1917,
Sydney
and
Sweeney's feet walking to the door.
you watch Deakins, and you just absolutely know that.
Well, that one it works so well because that nighttime scene with the flare, it almost feels like a black and white. It's so sharp.
yeah, and it's a beautiful scene, and that scene alone won
Well,
that
and,
movie.
and to do what that does over such a large distance, because when they're in those large outside tracking scenes, they're covering a huge amount of space that has to be, and that's where the set design on this one
Yeah.
is probably a lock on.
It's probably a lock on that one. So best original score or best original song. I might Stand Up from Harriet. I'm Standing With You, which I'm not sure what that's from. They don't even say the movie here. I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away, which I'm pretty sure is from Randy Newman, which means from Marriage
Marriage
Story. I'm Gonna Love Me Again, Elton John, Rocket Man, winner.
Should be because the Oscars like stars.
Yeah, adapted screenplay. This is a good category. Personally, I like this one a lot. There's already, I think, a favorite, and she's probably going to win because she got robbed for Best Director. But as of right now, Best Adapted Screenplay is Taika Waititi for Jojo Rabbit, which was one of my favorites of the year. Greta Gerwig, Little Women. Steven Zalian for The Irishman, Todd Phillips for Joker, Anthony McCartan for The Two Popes, and yeah, that's
I
it.
think Irishman's going to be the movie that gets the nominations and doesn't win anything.
I think that and Joker, except for Joaquin.
The
You don't think Joker wins anything?
No, he's gonna win. He's gonna win Best Actor.
He threw in an accept, so he doesn't think that at all.
Well, no, it's the movie that has the most nominations. It got 11 nominations. They're gonna only win one. It's Joaquin.
There'll be one of the other below the line ones. I'm not sure what yet.
It'll probably be Best Costume.
Well, score. She's on fire.
Oh, no. She might win for Best Score.
She's on fire because she did for Chernobyl, and it was fantastic.
But also, there's also a couple other scores I think that have a shot.
The John Williams one would be interesting because that could be a valedictory. But I mean, he's won several awards.
He's
so.
won 82. I mean,
He was
like
nominated for 82. He didn't win 82.
but he's he's won the
Won, like,
most ever.
Teens.
So, should you get an award for recycling?
Well, mixing.
So that's screenplay. I think is going to go to Greta Gerwig. She was one of the snubs for Best Director. Personally, I don't think Todd Phillips should have got Best Director for Joker, but whatever.
What about screenplay? Is he in the running? They wrote that from scratch.
It's adapted screenplay.
Yeah.
Adapted means you adapted from another material.
Well, we'll get to it. There's two separate
Yeah.
categories.
So the Irishman is based on a book. The
Yeah.
Woman is based on a book. Jojo Rabbit is based on a book. Joker's based on the Joker. Two Popes is based.
They are saying that on previous published materials because it's not wholly original.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just best adapted screenplays.
It absolutely should be because the
Character
Academy
names,
the Academy typically will reward first time directors or wonderkin directors by giving them the screenplay when they did that. What's his name for Get Out? Won.
Oh yeah.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele won for that. Quentin Tarantino won for Pulp Fiction.
Ben Affleck
and Matt Damon, but they weren't nominated for. They only wrote it for Good Will Hunting and Sofia Coppola for Lost in Translation. So that's typically it's like we can't give the other thing, so we'll go ahead and give you this because the other one's more prestigious.
This is a really good one.
And since they did not nominate her for director, it's almost everybody's going to go Greta Gerwig for.
So best original screenplay is Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, Knives Out, 1917. I personally think 1917.
It's not going to win.
It's not going to win
because
that.
there's not enough dialogue.
Now, to me, I think Parasite and Knives Out and Marriage Story and What's Up. This is a hard category. If you watched all movies,
won screenplay twice already, though,
and
right?
they think he might be the favorite for this, but
that's getting in Billy Wilder territory.
These are all great screenplays. Honestly, Marriage Story, you saw
It was great.
I saw an interview with Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson. They were talking about that. Every single thing that they said was what was written. There was no improvisation. Marriage Story was it.
And also the scene where they finally had their breakout fight in his apartment.
Yeah. Don't compare me to my father. Scene.
It's such a good scene.
I love Ray Liotta and Laura Dern going at it.
And beautiful. It's
there's many good scenes.
Like as far as I'm concerned, like this is actually one of the tougher categories. I'm pretty sure it's going to Once Upon a Time. But you can make
Knives Out too, though. Goddamn.
But yeah, I'll say you can make an argument for each
like
and
four
every
of
one of
them.
these movies, except for maybe 1917. But I think original screenplay, what goes into 1917, is more than just dialogue.
It is,
It's
but it's not going to win because it's not.
I personally think Parasite should win, but I think
this will be the interesting thing because if Parasite wins this one, then it would have won foreign language and screenplay. Now it's really in the conversation for best
picture, best director.
So now there's an interesting thing, but I don't think it'll win this. It could be really interesting because this could be where Rian Johnson gets his award.
Yeah.
Because they're never gonna get him for director because he's just not known enough. But they
eventually
will give him credit.
I think he will eventually.
But his direction is unique, but it's not to where it's a situation to where the olds that do the voting will go like, oh, that guy or something, or it's not showy enough.
So best.
Tarantino could get his third. I think it's Noah. I think Marriage Story is winning for this one, and that's the award it gets.
See, me personally, I think it's either going to be.
I like Marriage Story or Knives Out.
I think
those are the two. Those are the two.
I think it's Bong Joon-ho or Quentin Tarantino. If I were a gambling man. So best foreign language film, it's pretty much Parasite. But
Pain and Glory is in.
Pain and Glory is a dark horse.
Theaters now.
It's a dark horse. My family ordered it on Amazon. They watched it. My mom really liked it. It's a Spanish movie, so yeah. Best documentary feature. I did. This is the first. Send it to the chat, please. So this is you know what? I'm really disappointed in myself. Typically, I like to see every documentary feature before the lead up, but then again, This year's lead up has been one of the shortest lead ups ever.
Oh, by the way, yes.
From nomination to award.
And by the way, Valentine 5 is closing next week.
What? For good?
Yeah. It's going to become Office Space. February 6th is the last date that they're showing movies.
So the only theater that we had that's going to get those kind of movies
is the Manor.
The Manor or Park Road.
Well, no, because that's AMC and they show regular movies in that. So it's the larger Regal and their 20, 21, 22 theaters. So it'll be the edge ones. So it won't be as many options.
That really sucks.
Yeah.
How am I going to see some of these? For Charlotte being such a large city, to have such limited options to see these small.
They've shut down 2 of them. Park Terrace closed 3 years ago, and then now this one.
The Manor off of
the Manor's the only one left.
It's only 2 theaters.
Yeah.
All right. So best documentary. From what I understand, I actually want to watch all of these, but from what I understand, American Factory is probably the favorite. That's I think Obama's helped make that.
Is that through the Netflix thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best animated feature is Klaus, Missing Link, Toy Story 4, How to Train Your Dragon, Hidden World. I
heard
Lost
Klaus
My
is
Body.
really good.
Apparently, Klaus is the
What are we up on?
for best animated feature is Klaus.
I will never vote against How to
Missing
Train
Link,
Your Dragon.
Toy
I will
Story
never.
4, How to Train Your Dragon, and I Lost My Body. Apparently, Klaus is really good in the favorite.
I've heard that.
Over Toy Story 4.
Missing Link won the Golden Globe, but that doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't mean shit. It's a British. I gotta watch Klaus. I want to watch Klaus. I watched the trailer. It looks really good. The animation style looks really interesting.
Well, so you know what they did, right? They did it in 2D, and then they did a 3D effect on it.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, and so there was a video that I saw. I'll see if I can find it. I'll send it to you. That shows how they kind of did that.
So
I was like, that's clever.
So that's why it looks really fucking cool.
It's, yeah,
kind of like
got a different look.
Kind of like Edge of Spider-Verse had a different look, and they trademarked that animation style.
They did. They created things for that.
So best original musical score. John Williams for Rise of Skywalker, Thomas Newman 1917, Joker, Hildur. I don't want to fuck up that name. Guanatador.
She's Danish. No, it's more Orson or something.
Yeah. Little Women.
I believe she's Danish. She could be Norwegian.
Alexander Desplat.
Finnish.
And then Marriage Story. Randy Newman. Love Randy Newman. Love that score, but no,
it's Joker. She's going to win on that.
It's Joker. I think 1917 has an outside shot.
It's funny. I don't remember the score at Joker at all, but I do remember the feel of different times, and it was very appropriate to what was going on.
It's fucking dread the entire time.
Which is probably
that brump.
Well, that the mix where he's finally after he shoots the first set of guys and he goes in the bathroom and starts doing the thing for the first time, like that actual violin is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I listen to it just randomly
but
throughout
it's
the day.
just
Sometimes
the entire score is just.
I can't believe a DJ hasn't made a mix of it yet. They probably have.
It's just that low brump.
Well,
but then the timing thing and everything.
And then they come in with that rock and roll part 2, fucking like some incredibly upbeat when he finally gets into it, the pedophile song.
Yeah,
Gary Glitter. Yeah.
And then, which goddamn, if you were gonna give yourself a pedophile name, fucking that's top of the list.
So
hey kids, come meet Gary Glitter.
So she won the Emmy and she won the Emmy for the theme, the music for Chernobyl. She went into the Chernobyl reactor, all covered up and everything, and recorded some of the just sounds that the reactor makes, and she used in that.
Okay, she's gonna win. I think 1917 has an outside shot because I think the score is very sweeping and very amazing.
I also think she's the only person like under 50 that's gonna be nominated for these things going into the future. I think she's under 40.
She
probably under 35.
She did a really good job, but at the same time, I think the score for 1917, like I said, during the both run scenes.
Future Emmy winner for television score should be Mandalorian. That should be the winner for next year.
Absolutely. Best director. Here we have where I think Todd Phillips just should have been nominated.
He got a nomination. That's what he gets.
Whatever. Quentin Tarantino, Todd Phillips, Joker, Bong Joon-ho, Parasite, Martin Scorsese, Irishman, Sam Mendes, 1917.
I think it's
Parasite
Bong
or
Joon-ho
1917
or Sam Mendes.
They are the favorite. I genuinely think, personally, I think 1917 is going to get Best Picture and Bong Joon-ho is going to walk away as Best Director.
I don't know if they'll split them, but again, if that screenplay one goes to either one of those movies, that's the tip off. Those voters aren't usually as egalitarian and will split things like that. They'll just go ahead and like straight party vote, so to speak.
Yeah, but no. Let's see. Like I said, I was trying to remember off the top of my head. Was it? Yeah, sorry. Off the top of my head, was it 2016 or 14? I think when who was it?
What's the space movie with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney?
Yeah, that was
Gravity,
Gravity.
because that won director. It didn't win movie.
Yeah, exactly. In Alejandro Inarritu.
Oh, was that the Argo year? That was the Argo year.
That was the Argo year. Yeah, so it was in '86 when it was 12 Years a Slave, and Gravity won for best
16 or
12 Years a Slave
6.
won Best Picture, and Gravity won Best Director. And then I think the year.
I don't think those old voters can seriously vote for a director named Steve McQueen, knowing that it's not Steve McQueen.
Yeah. And then also, I think the 88th Academy Awards when Spotlight won Best Picture. I think the Best Director. Inarritu won Best Director for. He directed
For his one-shot movie.
No. He won The Revenant. That was the last one. That was the last time. So Inarritu's won 2.
Yeah.
Because he's a talented fucking guy. And it was also a single take.
Well, also,
movie.
I mean, the other thing with Revenant is like most of that stuff. It's like, oh, they did all this. No, they weren't in any of those places.
Yeah, it's also natural lighting the entire movie.
Natural lighting in a studio.
Yeah.
So I mean, what's that?
Kind of weird how you do that.
For some of the things, not all the things.
I'm rooting for Bong Joon-ho. I think he's fantastic. Sam Mendes did a great job. Poor Marty, but yeah.
Well, he got his one. They knew it too. They sent out Lucas and Coppola and Spielberg to announce the award for it.
Best Supporting Actress, we have Kathy Bates, Margot for Richard Jewell. It's the only thing in that entire movie I liked. Margot Robbie for Bombshell. Scarlett Johansson, Jojo
really
Rabbit.
good in Bombshell.
I love Scarlett Jo and
She
Jojo.
was really good in that.
Touching, and
She had a fucking year, man. How many things was she in that was nominated?
Well, again, she won. She's got a nomination for Best Actress, got a nomination for Best Supporting Actress, and she's in the biggest movie of the year.
Yeah.
Ever. Biggest movie ever.
Ever.
yeah, but there's arguments to be made that she
And
took
to balance
away.
it out, she got engaged to Colin Jost. So you take the good with the bad.
There's some arguments getting made that her nomination in Best Supporting or Best Acting took away from some other actresses that may have deserved.
Didn't Adam Driver come on SNL and it's like, hey, I've kind of made out with Colin Jost?
Yeah, he did say that.
Adam Driver is the best non-SNL character. He's the best host. He's
Yeah,
so
they
good.
they revisited.
That's not. He's. I
So
said that.
good. I agree with you. He's so good.
He's the best
So I went-
non-comedian host.
I
that
went
they've had in
back
a
and
long
looked
time.
at all his shit, and it's all fucking hysterical.
Have you seen the first one where he did the very first undercover boss?
Yes. I saw that years ago, but then the new one was even better. And then there's just other ones where it's like he plays like the old professor and just like the other shit he does.
So
I've never heard of him. There's a reason for that.
So yeah, Scarlett
That's
Johansson.
my line.
Yeah.
I think you have Florence Pugh for Little Women.
Who was fantastic in that. She was great.
I don't like her character.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I think her character was entirely unlikable, meant to be. But
like
I still liked her enough because of who she was.
She's like the next it girl.
She's the next big thing.
Yeah,
I just watched her in Fighting with Your Family. Even I don't think she was probably cast as Paige, but that's just here nor there.
She didn't. I guess she wasn't physically imposing enough. I think that was the only.
Yeah,
thing.
but also at the same time, well, Paige.
I've met Paige for a hot little thing. She actually does like look the part.
And then also, you know what?
It's ironic.
She was in Midsummer too.
Yeah, I know.
It's ironic that Florence Pugh is having her breakout year as the same year that Scarlett Johansson is getting the recognition for all the things that she did, as they're both in Black Widow, with Florence Pugh taking the Black Widow role.
Take the torch.
Yeah.
Take the
So
torch.
then you also have Laura Dern, who's the favorite, and probably going to
Thunderbolts.
Marriage Story. I personally
Thunderbolts. We're gonna have Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Laura Dern's going to win that one.
Yes, everything. And also because she's going to get voted for that. And I think they should do this in the Academy. They used to, but because she was also great in Little Women in the supporting roles. The mom.
She was fantastic.
So I think that she's going to get credit for both of those roles and the vote on that.
So then now we are.
I'm upset Ray Liotta got no love for that movie. They're like the die out of that movie.
He
is one of those guys that's always so much better than you think. I just watched.
Ray Liotta?
Yeah.
What is it? Is it Honeymooners or Heartbreak? What is the
Heartbreakers
one?
with Susan Sarandon.
No. Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver. That's what it is.
And,
Who's the girl? Who's the young girl?
Oh
fuck! I love that movie.
Three names.
I love him when he
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
No.
He plays unhinged so well.
He was great in that.
I loved him in Turbulence. You ever seen the movie Turbulence?
Gene Hackman is in that.
Yes.
And Jennifer Love
Hewitt. Love Hewitt. Yep.
And her Jennifer Love Hewittess.
Did you ever see the movie?
And Jason Lee.
Did you ever see the movie Turbulence with him and what's her face from Dumb and Dumber? Jim Carrey's ex-wife.
Lauren Holly.
Lauren Holly. You ever seen that movie where he plays a psychopath trying to take over a plane?
That came out at the same time as another plane movie.
That came out
they
like
always
during
come
the
out the same
early 90s. Best actress, we have Charlize Theron for Bombshell.
Passenger 57 probably came out at the same time.
Yeah, around the same time, I think. And or maybe Clear and President. No, that was not Clear and President. What was the other airplane movie? With
Air Force One.
No, not Air Force One. Oh my god,
Yeah, it was Air Force One.
The
with
90s
Harrison
one.
Ford.
I got 5 minutes. Can we hit the big ones real quick?
Okay, hold on. Wait, no, the one with Steven Seagal.
Oh, Executive Decision.
Boom. Thank you. All right, Best Actress.
His favorite movie of mine.
That was a really good movie. Charlize Theron, Bombshell. Renee Zellweger, Judy. Cynthia Erivo for Harriet. Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story. And Saoirse Ronan, Saoirse Ronan for Little Women.
She's not going to win hers until she's well into her 30s.
I'm totally a pig because I've only seen one of these fucking movies.
Charlize Theron was great, but she's not. I don't know why she's not going to win. Well, she has an award.
I'm giving it to Scarlett for the just please finger me line.
You know what's really funny? God damn it!
It was the best line of the movie.
Me personally, I don't think Scarlett Jo should actually be nominated in this movie. She wasn't that great in Marriage Story. I think she was great in JoJo. Not to be among
everybody's your actor's favorite actor's role was Marriage Story.
Yeah,
so a hero can only be as good as its villain.
Yeah,
so Adam Driver can only be so good because she was.
I was going to say the person I think that got robbed here was Lupita Nyong'o for Us. I think
but that's supporting. They would have.
No, she was the main actress.
I know, but I mean, whenever that's been in the other roles, it's been a supporting.
I think she got robbed for either
whatever they
whichever character. I think she got robbed, and I think she could have been in for one of those Scarlett Johansson roles because she is awesome in fucking Us.
But I think apparently it's Renee Zellweger. She's in everything.
I haven't watched that movie yet.
Charlize Theron is fantastic in Bombshell.
Have you seen Judy?
No, I was going to at the Valentine Village, but it got out of there too.
I might have to. I think it's out now on like Amazon.
Yeah, it is. It's out on the whatever.
So it's Parasite. You can actually go and just watch Parasite at home.
I will go see that.
All right, Best Supporting Actor.
I have A plus. I am going to go see things.
All right, so Supporting Actor is Brad Pitt's Lock City. But at the same time, you have Anthony Hopkins, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, Tom Hanks.
Pesci may get because he came back for it kind of thing.
But he hasn't shown up anywhere though.
Yeah.
See, he's not stubbing for it.
I would like the award to go to Joe Pesci.
No, he doesn't.
I personally wish Tom Hanks could play Mr. Rogers in an actual Mr. Rogers fucking movie about his life.
I thought it was a great decision the way they did the movie though.
Well, okay.
Because we had the documentary not 2 years ago, so it would be hard to see the exact same thing.
Very true, but at the same time, they kind of misrepresented what the movie was about in the trailers.
Oh, they absolutely did.
So that's the problem I had.
Yes, because it's 100%. Not about Mr. Rogers.
It's
about the reporter.
It's about a guy.
We talked about that when we saw the trailer.
No, it's about a guy who actually wrote about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, I personally like all these. I like all the performances. The performances here.
It's Brad Pitt though.
It's Brad Pitt.
This
is
the only time that he's going to be in a movie that will have the expectation to where he can
sitting him on the roof reminiscing about Bruce Lee.
The best part, and then he goes
in that scene.
Oh yeah,
and then also him coming to in the with the dog at the end of the movie. Done.
Even right before when he's on the boat with his wife at the time, right before.
Yeah,
I mean it's the
Brad
same
Pitt playing
acting.
Brad Pitt.
It's the same acting that he does as Rusty in the Ocean's movies.
Yep,
but because it's a higher level thing, I mean it's like what it's like I don't mean to be mysterious, but I can't tell you, and I can't tell you why. It's one of the greatest lines ever that he delivers, and he's like, oh wow, that's everything that he is in the and almost all in this movie, Once Upon a Time, and the Ocean's movies is that line and eating food.
I love it. That's kind of why they made Han always have the food in the Fast movies.
Yeah.
All right. So Best Actor. So we all say Brad Pitt. Obviously, he's the favorite. It's his to win.
Too.
The actor categories are pretty much locks at this point. It's all the other categories are not.
Taron Egerton not being nominated.
It's a fucking sham, man.
How many people got nominated?
5. But at the same time,
so everything should be 5.
Yeah, well, yes and no.
Joker's going to win. Lock City. All right, I got to get out of here, guys.
Yeah, for Best Actor? Yep. That's cool. So, no, my biggest issue is that Taron Egerton didn't get nominated, but he sang and performed and acted and did everything himself.
And he won
and then Rami Malek, and he won the Golden Globe.
And he's probably going to win the BAFTA this weekend.
And he didn't get nominated. It's the same thing that happened with, I think it's almost as big of a travesty as Ben Affleck not getting Best Director or nominated for the Best Director for Argo. But anyways, I think it's a sham for him.
Well, I mean, and again, the only thing with Argo, because it is a weird 5 directors, but up to 7, 8, or 9 movies.
Yeah.
So there are going to be ones that aren't. But because it ended up winning Best Picture, it became more egregious.
Yeah. So
especially since he had done The Town and the other ones leading up to it, to where he's getting the reputation.
All great movies. Yeah. Watch Town, highly underrated. So Best Actor, you have Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. Love him in that movie.
You the nominations is award. I'll get to that.
Or you think you're going to watch it?
No, I'll probably watch that one because now that I know it's a comedy type of thing and what it's about, it's like I'll probably watch that one.
I use comedy lightly.
No, but it's the transition because I thought it was a documentary, but knowing that it's an acting version of that, and those two guys are really compelling on screen.
So Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Pain and Glory for Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, which
I'll probably watch that. I watched Beautiful in the theaters.
This is the only movie I haven't seen in this category. Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, It's His to Lose. Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I don't like the movie, but his performance is fantastic.
I hate the movie, but he did a good job, and it's only fitting that 10 years ago Heath Ledger won for best
supporting actor.
Best supporting, yeah. So, anyways, now we have the Best Picture category. These are all, aside from Joker, these are all really good movies. Actually, almost all these movies were on my top list. Ironically enough, aside from the Marvel comic book fanfare movies. But 1917, you have Ford v Ferrari, which is arguably one of my
Ford v Ferrari is going to be one of the movies that's always mentioned by fans that have seen it. It's going to have a unique place because I don't think as many people have seen it as should, or as many people have seen it that would enjoy it. But I think anybody who watches it will love it.
Well, no. See, there's a big contingent of people that would say "okay, boomer," who just didn't think that movie was that great.
I don't.
If you know what I mean when I say that.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Young movie cinemaphiles who,
but I don't.
like,
but
whatever,
no,
boomer.
No, I don't think they would have gone to see it at all, though.
No, but the movie reviewers who did see it, those are the type of people that didn't really like the movie. And I'm like, dude, fuck off.
I don't think
it's a bygone era of machismo. Yada yada yada.
But I don't even think it's about that. I think they just don't understand about friendships.
No.
Because the friendship between Shelby and the driver was just fantastic and completely understanding, and they knew each other, and they knew where they rubbed each other wrong, and
they fought for each other and with each other.
They knew what they needed to do. I mean, the whole thing with the wrench, when it's like it was thrown at her, it's like take it and frame it, and then later in the film you see that it's up on his wall.
Oh shit! I didn't realize Bradley Cooper was a producer for Joker. Because of his relationship with Todd Phillips.
Yeah, with Todd Phillips.
Did they have a production company? Well, obviously.
I don't know if they have a production company, but Cooper is on putting in the other stuff with the money he does. I don't know if it's together with him.
Well, here's my biggest issue. So,
I mean, that was I know Hangover, but what was Wedding Crashers? Was that Phillips or was that somebody else?
I think no, he was like a producer or something.
Okay, so movie. I mean, that's where Cooper.
So no, that's what I was talking about that earlier yesterday in our group chat. I was talking about the hot take idea, and one of the hot takes is basically, hey, you know what? If you're gonna do acting, you have two separate categories for acting: best impersonation, essentially.
Well, but best playing
performance
playing a real life person,
real life person, and best actor. Because you know what, they brought up the stat like 9 of the last 15 have all been.
Oh, whenever you play a real person, you're always higher up on the list. Because
I think Bradley.
Joaquin Phoenix won for playing a real person.
I think Bradley Cooper was robbed last year for Star Is Born.
He was terrific
over Rami Malek. And I didn't like,
but I think Bradley Cooper and I've mentioned this about Brad Pitt, and I think he's the next guy. It's like in Harrison Ford. They may get a nomination here or there, but they may actually never get the opportunity to win because they're so subtle at what they do. People can't tell if they're doing themselves or not doing themselves. It's kind of like the McConaughey thing, but because he played a character that was so obviously opposite of who he is, that he finally got recognized for how good he is at doing things.
See, he was actually fantastic. The Gentleman, by the way. Have you seen The Gentleman?
Yes. It was so good.
Charlie
Hunnam should only be in the secondary role. He's not. He can carry a movie, but when they try and make him the lead sex symbol guy, they always give him the wrong material.
See, I always get Charlie Hunnam confused with the dude that was in Tron.
Oh yeah. Well, that guy.
He was in Pacific Rim.
Yes.
I always get those guys confused.
Well, both of them were.
Yeah, they're both the same fucking guy as far as I can see.
And also the Avatar dude. They were all like
Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington were all coming up at the same time, and it's like, which one of these guys?
Tron Legacy guy. He was in Four Brothers as the youngest brother.
Okay,
he was really good in that movie.
And wasn't he in? He was in one of the pseudo cowboy whatever.
So, anyways, best picture we have 1917, which I think is probably going to win. Ford v Ferrari, a movie I think that.
Completely deserving.
I would love it to win. As far as like if it were to go by fan/fanfare of like you watch this movie, you don't leave that movie unhappy.
And this is one of the things is when people that have played a sport, even if it's pickup or at the lowest of levels, when you watch a movie that's doing sports, you can tell when it's not real sports.
Yeah.
And it's always like I've said on this before, anytime David Fincher directs anything, he shows thinking better than anybody else in anything at any time. So in Zodiac and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and in Mindhunter, you see these people working it out in their head in a way that's almost impossible to show when you don't hear their inner monologue.
Yeah.
And one of the things that Ford versus Ferrari does that's fantastic is that they make you feel the race is happening.
Yeah.
You feel the speed, you feel
40X
the tension. The
40X
move.
was awesome in that movie.
And then the turns and the having to hit the things and the hitting the edges and everything. You feel that. It's like, oh, I'm in the race, and it's hard to do that.
Yeah. So okay. So honestly,
I as soon as I saw that, it's like this is the best movie I've seen up to this point.
I love that movie, and
actually, it is the best movie that I saw last year because I didn't see 1917 until this year.
So it's 1917. Would you put that the number one movie?
If
we were to redo remember we made our list last podcast.
I would have,
and you didn't list them in any particular order,
no,
but
it would have made a top 10.
Hindsight, if you could put a top 3 together, what would you say?
And again, there's movies I know that are well crafted that I think are amazing that I'll never revisit.
Yeah.
And 1917 could be one of those, but it's also one of those that I think that depending on when I jump in or flip over, I'll stay because of the way that it flows, which I really, really like. I mean, it might be the best made movie from last year. Yeah. I mean, every part of it works so well together. The performances are hard to say because it's all physical. All of the action for most of it is just physical. It's the way that they're saying what they say even in the talking scenes, but it's the way that they say them. Like the Andrew character at the beginning who tells them how to get over, and then Cumberbatch, and then
that was one of my biggest problems with the movie. It kind of felt
see them react.
It felt like a video game.
Well, I mean, that's the way that it's any one shot or point of view thing is not a traditional movie, and it's a different feel.
Yeah, but it gives you the feel like, here's your mission. Now go get your mission.
Yeah, go do that.
Go do this.
Here's the cut scenes. Here's the action scenes.
Here's the NPC you just met. You're going to talk to him for a second, get some clues. But I love that movie. It's great. Joker. It
made a lot of money.
It made a lot of money. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, if Joker didn't have the character Joker, and it was just made about a crazy dude, no.
It wouldn't have made
$1 billion
of the money,
and it wouldn't have been nominated. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, great movie.
Joaquin Phoenix still might have, because he's enough of a presence and a name that people would look at it. But the rest of the stuff wouldn't have.
His acting is great. I mean, if you watch him in The Master and those other movies he's been in, he does a great job.
But again, this is who I think that he is. So him playing this isn't terrifically impressive to me.
Yeah, you're right. Hold on 1 second. Can you pause it? So anyways, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, good movie.
It's one of the things, this is where the editing hurts it, I guess, because any particular moment or scene that you talk about, except for one when what's her name appears and I know her name, I'm intentionally not saying it, appears at the ranch and calls Tex and the other guys over because I just can't stand her. But any other scene you talk about, I talk about how well it's staged, acted, written, and everything. But as a whole, it doesn't work for me.
The sum of its parts doesn't equate to a good movie to me. There's great scenes.
It's the exact opposite of that.
Maybe the extended 5,000-hour version might be better.
Could be, but again, the storyline and the buddy cop setup that they have between DiCaprio and Pitt is fantastic. And I mean, Margot Robbie does so much with what little she has. I mean, it's good. I understand why people love it.
Yeah. I don't necessarily understand, but whatever. My personal favorite, Parasite. It's probably going to win Best Foreign. If he ends up winning Best Director, we could very well see
Well, if he wins screenplay, he's getting one of those two awards is going his way.
That movie is beautifully crafted, beautifully shot, beautifully acted. Honestly, it's made a lot of money actually globally. Everyone, some people hate subtitles. I try to convince my girlfriend to want to watch it. She hates subtitles. Doesn't want to watch the movie at all. I'm like, dude, you're missing out on an excellent movie.
Don't let the 1-inch barrier separate you.
And that's what he said in his acceptance speech. The Irishman. Me personally, I really like that movie. The more I've watched it, actually, the more I've liked it, the more I've had a better understanding of what the movie's trying to say.
It's just getting nominations. They're like, we already gave you our awards.
Yeah. Little Women. Amy Pascal was the. Imagine that. She was a producer for that movie.
I mean, it took a while to get it going.
Yeah. I like that movie a lot. Any other year, maybe I would like to see.
It could have a chance, but I mean, this is a tough year
shot.
with Parasite in 1917. It's the third one out, which means it's not going to win. If it was one of the top two, it probably could squeeze in.
A lot of people will say Jojo Rabbit probably doesn't deserve a nomination. I said the moment I saw this movie, I texted into our says that I think Taika and Jojo should probably get Best Picture or Academy recognition. They did.
That's just an award. Getting a nomination is
just recognition, and then Marriage Story.
It'll be very interesting because the bulk of the voters are actors. So that's where Marriage Story will have an opportunity, much like Once Upon a Time, because there's plenty of roles for plenty of actors, and it's a meaty actor-y thing to where 1917 might have some trouble.
This year, though, I don't think we're going to have a Green Book situation where the superior movie clearly just gets robbed.
Like Crash?
Like when Crash won, and the last year when Green Book won over.
I still can't believe. I mean, I felt it happening throughout the show and leading up to it, and I still can't believe that they said it.
Yeah, same thing with me last year when Green Book won over Roma. Just ridiculous. Or
the 1 inch barrier.
Yeah, and then also the same year when what was it? It was
Crash beat Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, no, but the it was Shakespeare in Love beat out Saving Private Ryan.
All of the 5 movies nominated for Best Picture, 3 of them were World War II. Saving Private Ryan, The
Thin Red Line,
and
what was the other one?
Life is Beautiful.
Yeah,
and 2 of them were about Queen Elizabeth, Shakespeare in Love and Elizabeth.
Yeah, and I personally think
that was the first time I saw all 5 of the movies in the theater before they were nominated for Best Picture.
And that was the first time I, as a kid, really was following the Academy Awards. And I remember just sitting there watching that happen, and I'm like, huh? And that's when I realized
Harvey Weinstein.
Sometimes the Academy is not always going to get it right.
Harvey Weinstein fucking everything that he doesn't need to.
Oh, and on that, guys, we're going to go ahead and end Simon Says Pop. Hey, guys, please, give us a like, share, subscribe, whatever,
Ask us questions on the Facebook page.
Yeah, do what you want. We'll definitely reply to y'all. Also, on a side note.
In the podcast.
Yeah, in the podcast. And I might engage you on social media, but, whatever. I'm a troll. Love you guys. Have a great weekend.